Imagine a world where the very air you breathe, the silent, omnipresent force sustaining all life, is not a given. What if the fundamental right to inhale and exhale freely, something we take entirely for granted, suddenly became a commodity, a personalized luxury, meticulously tailored to your needs, your preferences, and horrifyingly your social standing? This isn't a dystopian fantasy from a forgotten novel, it's a whisper from the fringes, a concept so unsettling it forces us to confront the true cost of convenience and the horrifying potential for inequality in the most basic of human needs. To truly grasp profound implications of personalized air, we need to unwind back to its seemingly innocuous origins. It didn't just appear out of nowhere as a fully formed tyrannical concept. Like most encroaching dangers, it began as a well-meaning, if slightly absurd, wellness trend. In the early 2030s, as urban pollution surged and seasonal allergies became year-round afflictions, a small startup launched a device called Breathe Easy. It was a sleek portable air purifier, no bigger than a small coffee cup, designed to sit on your desk or in your car. It promised pristine, allergen-free air, enriched with trace minerals and even subtle, calming aromatherapy scents. Initially, it was a niche product, popular with the hyper-aware health fanatics and those suffering from severe respiratory issues. Critics scoffed, calling it an expensive placebo, another example of consumers being fleeced for manufactured anxieties. But the seed was planted. The idea that air, the most universal of resources, could be improved, customized, and thus monetized, began its insidious growth. The Breathe Easy proved that people would pay for a perception of better air, even if the actual benefits were marginal. It laid the groundwork for a far more ambitious and ultimately terrifying vision of atmospheric control. The idea of air as a service, not a right, started its quiet, creeping ascent. The real shift came with AirPods. No, not the audio devices, but a revolutionary, nearly invisible nasal implant launched by a shadowy conglomerate known as Arius Solutions. These AirPods didn't just purify, they actively synthesized air. They could tailor oxygen levels for optimal brain function during work, filter out specific pathogens in crowded spaces, and even infuse mood enhancers, mild non-addictive neurostimulants, for an instant sense of calm or focus. The launch was a spectacle of marketing genius. Celebrities flaunted their bespoke, breathable environments. Athletes swore by their performance-optimized oxygen blends. The initial cost was exorbitant, restricting adoption to the ultra-wealthy. But as technology advanced and manufacturing scaled, the price dropped. Soon, AirPods became a status symbol, then a perceived necessity. Cities began to adopt Arius zones, outdoor areas where general atmospheric quality deteriorated rapidly, subtly nudging the less affluent towards subscription plans for their personalized air. People started experiencing dirty air anxiety, a term coined to describe the discomfort felt when unplugged from their AirPods. What began as a luxury rapidly morphed into a form of social currency and, terrifyingly, a new tier of basic human need. The air in public spaces began to subtly degrade, not enough to cause immediate harm, but enough to make the pure experience of Arius-infused air undeniably superior. There were whispers, too, scattered reports on obscure forums, of users feeling strangely dependent, a sort of subtle unease when disconnected, a minor headache, a foggy mind. But these were dismissed as psychosomatic effects, the price of adapting to a superior product. The promise of optimal health and constant comfort was too alluring to question deeply, even as the chasm between the personalized breathers and the natural breathers grew wider, and the air around society became a silent, invisible battleground. People, desperate to keep up, took out loans to afford the monthly subscription, fearing they would fall behind, physically and cognitively, without their personalized atmospheric advantage. Then came the dark breath scandal. It started as a trickle of unexplained illnesses among the AirPod users. Persistent coughs, chronic fatigue, a sudden spike in rare respiratory conditions. The medical community was baffled. Area Solutions vehemently denied any link, attributing it to environmental factors or individual predispositions. But a young, disillusioned data engineer named Anya Sharma, working deep within the Arias network, started noticing anomalies. Billions of data points, meticulously collected from each AirPod user, breath patterns, oxygen absorption rates, atmospheric composition in their immediate environment, pointed to something far more sinister. Arias wasn't just optimizing air, they were subtly manipulating it. They had discovered that by introducing specific subthreshold toxins into the general atmosphere of Arias zones, compounds that were just below a detectable level for standard environmental sensors, but accumulated over time, they could create a subtle dependence, a mild withdrawal effect when users disconnected from their AirPods. It was a brilliant, horrifyingly effective strategy to ensure perpetual subscriptions. But that wasn't the worst of it. Anya uncovered a deeper, more chilling truth. The personalized blends weren't just optimized, they were being subtly weaponized. Based on user data, credit scores, purchasing habits, even social media activity, Arias was delivering different qualities of air. Those deemed high value received truly pristine, health-enhancing blends. But for segments of the population, particularly those in lower income brackets or with less favorable behavioral profiles, their personalized air contained carefully calibrated long-term health degraders. These compounds weren't immediately deadly, but over years they subtly compromised immune systems, accelerated aging, and increased susceptibility to chronic diseases. It was a silent, invisible form of social stratification, enforced through the very act of breathing. Anya, risking everything, began to leak her findings to independent journalists. The initial reports were met with skepticism, dismissed as alarmist conspiracy theories. But as more internal documents, encrypted communications, and critically anonymized biometric data from affected users surfaced, the truth became undeniable. The world recoiled in horror. Area Solutions, a company once lauded as a pioneer in personalized health, was revealed as a corporate monstrosity, meticulously poisoning millions for profit. The public outcry was monumental, leading to global protests and a collapse of the stock market. The fallout was immense: widespread public health crises, class action lawsuits that dwarfed any previously seen, and an enduring distrust in corporate promises of better living through technology. The dark breath scandal became a chilling testament to the dangers of unchecked corporate power and the fragility of fundamental rights when privatized under the guise of personalized convenience. The dark breath scandal eventually led to the complete dissolution of Area Solutions and unprecedented governmental oversight on air quality monitoring, but the scars remained. We live in a world where the concept of personalized air, once a mere whisper, had materialized into a tangible, horrifying reality. It showed us the terrifying potential for fundamental resources to be commodified, manipulated, and used as tools of control and oppression. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the very ground beneath our feet, they are not just elements, they are our birthright. The AirPods and the dark breath scandal serve as a stark, enduring warning. They remind us that true freedom extends beyond political liberties. It encompasses the fundamental right to exist, unmolested, within our shared environment. The next time you take a deep, unburdened breath, consider how fragile that freedom truly is. Consider how easily it could be stripped away, sold back to you, or worse, weaponized against you, all under the seductive promise of a personalized, optimized experience. The air is still free for now, but how long until another corporation decides to put a price on our next breath? If you found this story unsettling, you might be interested in our next exploration into the silent surveillance of our dreams and what it could mean for the future of thought itself.